Well, the ACLU and other migrant rights groups are suing the Biden administration over recent executive action to limit the number of asylum seekers entering the U.S. The new order disqualifies many migrants from asylum and makes it easier for immigration officials to deport them if they cross the border illegally. Joining us here in Studio 57 is CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez. Camilo, tell us what this new lawsuit actually says.
Hi, Lana and Errol. This policy by the Biden administration, as you just mentioned, is a partial ban on asylum claims at the border. People who cross between ports of entry are now banned from asylum and can be quickly deported either to Mexico or to their home country. The ACLU and other groups are arguing that this policy violates U.S. asylum law that for decades now, since the 1980s, has allowed people physically on U.S. soil to request protection, even importantly, if they enter the country unlawfully. So the ACLU and these other groups are saying that this policy is illegal, that it should be struck down, and that it places migrants in harm's way. But obviously, the administration is saying in court now that this policy is needed to prevent another surge in migration at the border and to prevent illegal crossings from soaring like they did last year.
And the Biden administration, as this is an election year, would have expected there to be some pushback, some backlash.
Yes.
Talk to us more about their expectation of that and how this might play out in their point of view.
Well, the Biden administration knew for certain that it was going to be challenged on this policy. Virtually every major action on immigration by President Biden has faced lawsuits, either from Republican-led states that have challenged his more generous immigration policies, but also from the ACLU and other advocacy groups that have challenged his more restrictive border policy. So this has been a theme throughout the administration. And to be honest, Errol, it has been a theme in immigration policy making for decades because Congress has not acted on this issue in any significant way since the 90s. Executive actions have been now common, and presidents have now turned to their executive authority, rather, to act on this issue. And this is what President Biden is arguing, that Congress should step up and act on this issue. But in the meantime, he's going to try to do something within his own authorities.
Camilo, the president is also considering another executive action on immigration that would grant work permits and deportation protections for some undocumented immigrants. A lot of people here in New York especially are talking about the importance of allowing people to work. Talk to us about the latest with this.
Well, there has been a longstanding complaint in the advocacy community that Biden administration policy has focused on new arrivals and not the longstanding undocumented immigrants that we often hear about, including the so-called dreamers. We are told that the president is right now, as we speak, considering a major move on immigration that would grant, as you noted, deportation protections and work permits to undocumented immigrants who have spouses who are U.S. citizens. They have to be married to American citizens. This would also, importantly, place them on a pathway to green card status and eventually, after several years, U.S. citizenship. And again, it would only apply to undocumented immigrants who have spouses who are American citizens.
Did you get a sense, I know you've spent time along the border as well, that the mood or conditions there around this are changing at all?
Well, there has been a decrease in illegal crossings over the past few days. It is still too early to draw any definitive conclusions as to the impact of the order, but border officials would point to the order to explain this drop in migrant crossings. But we also have to underscore that Mexican officials have been ramping up enforcement in Mexico, deporting more people to southern Mexico, and also stopping people from boarding trains that would get them to the U.S.
It's a constantly evolving challenge. Great to have your insight on this today. Camilo Montoya-Galvez, thanks so much.
Thank you.